Super Bowl 60. 15 years later, the Packers honor number 15, Bart Starr. Their next championship is going to happen 15 years after Super Bowl 45. As you see, Bart Starr, born at Montgomery, Alabama, he also died at Alabama. He played college football with Alabama. Who does that connect to? The answer is Bo Nix. He finished his college football career at Oregon, but you see that he is also born. He spent his high school years at Alabama. He spent his earlier college football tenure with a school located at Alabama, which is Auburn. That is his connection to the state where Bart Starr is from. Now, the next Super Bowl at the Bay Area is 10 years later. Bo Nix is number 10. Jordan Love is number 10. I think they're going full Illuminati on the masses. It's interesting that his birthday, February 25. 25 is 7. 2000 reduces to 2. His birthday, 11-day numerology. Super Bowl on February the 8th. 2026 adds up to 10. 10 reduces to 1. It is also an 11-day in numerology. In Gematria, Bo Nix is Gematria Super Bowl 60. Now, the rigged scripted NFL is clear. The Bills are going to beat the Patriots. And because Patrick Mahomes and Burrow and Lamar Jackson are... because Mahomes and Burrow are missing the playoffs, and Lamar Jackson is basically could be a one and done. You know, the Ravens are garbage. People are going to jump over Josh Allen because of the fact that these other three guys, their teams are not contenders. And so the Bills are going to again fall short. This is where the Denver Broncos come into the equation. His birthday is on the 56th day of the year. 56 would be Gematria of the Packers in reverse. Born on the 56th day, the Packers does equal 56. Bo Nix is Gematria. Bo is Gematria of his number. The next Super Bowl at the Bay, 10 years later. It's also Cam Newton that played in the last Super Bowl at San Francisco at Santa Clara in Super Bowl 50. It is Cam that's Gematria 17 and 8. Nix is Gematria of... Well, I find it interesting that his name is exact Gematria of Nevada. So maybe he's going to have a really good record in Nevada when he plays the Raiders all the time. In Gematria, it is Bo Nix. That is, first of all, Gematria 28 would be Gematria of Packers. He could face off against the Packers in the Super Bowl. 28 is also Gematria of the Super Bowl at the Bay. The Bay is Gematria. I keep thinking Bay equals 28. But Bo Nix 64 is the host 49ers hosting the game. 64 is also Gematria. He is a player on the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos equals 154 in 64. Levi Stadium equals 154. Not very often does a team play in the very next game at the prior last time a team hosted the Super Bowl, but that's where we get Denver Broncos for Super Bowl 50. Jordan Love in reverse equals 154. So Jordan Love does equal Denver Broncos. This was a rematch of Super Bowl 32. We can see this rematch 28 years later. Bo Nix and Packers is 28. Now it's Bay that's Gematria 28. The Bay Area, it's Bay in 17 and 28. That equals Bo and Cam Newton from the previous Super Bowl at Santa Clara. In 28 would basically be Packers and Bo Nix. Super Bowl 50 in this year's Super Bowl, Broncos 86 and 32. We can see a rematch of Super Bowl 32. I want to start out with Bay Area. The Bay Area equals 86. The Bay Area 41 would also be Gematria Green Bay. Broncos equals Gematria of the Bay Area. Rematch equals Super Bowl 32 and 68. A rematch involving Denver. It can happen. Because 94 and 31 would be the 31st time that the NFC wins the Super Bowl. That's what the Pack are going to do. Pack equals 31. 31 would be Santa Clara in abbreviations. Also abbreviations, it does equal Broncos. Sean Payton's going to lose because he was involved in Bountygate. He won't be allowed to win the Super Bowl. On an 11-day numerology, Sean Payton falls to 1-1 in the Super Bowl as a coach. Sean Payton, basically for the Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl 45 and Super Bowl 60, they would go 14 full seasons without a championship before they win their 15th championship. And that's what Bart Starr number 15 is about. May the 26th, 5 and 26 equals 31, mirrors the 31st time that the NFC would win the Super Bowl. Bart Starr equals 36. The Broncos fall to 3 and 6 in the Super Bowl all time. Bart is Gematria of the Packers' 14th title at Levi's. Levi's equals 67. Star 22 equals Super Bowl at Levi's. The Packers' next championship at Levi's. That's how we look at Star. Now we have to look at the amount of time from his death, May 26th of the year 2019, to the time that the Packers are going to be playing on 2-8. Bo Nix is playing on 2-8. So all the way to 2026, over 6 years and 8 months later, the Packers can win the championship. Over 6 years and 8 months later, they can play against Denver. 6 years and the 9th month is basically Gematria of Green Bay Packers. Denver in abbreviations equals the Packers' 14th title in their history. Brian Bartlett Star 72 does equal Santa Clara. Santa Clara does equal 72 in the reverse side of things. Brian Starr 46, Levi Stadium does equal 46. So remember, we talked about 154. Levi Stadium 46, Packers NFC Championship record improves to 4 and 6. What about Sean Payton? Sean is going to the Super Bowl on the 39th day of the year. Sean does equal Green Bay Packers. The Super Bowl is on the 39th day of the year. Sean Payton can go up against Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur does equal 39 in the 6 years and the 9 months after Bart Starr's death. The Super Bowl is on the 39th day of the year. Super Bowl history of Super Bowl 50 and potentially future history. The Denver Broncos 79 equals Santa Clara, California. They both equal 79. We could see history repeating itself. Okay, that's kind of what Bo Nix's gematria really means. So the Broncos 47, that's basically Nix. He plays for the Denver Broncos. So that Alabama connection to Bo Nix, he was drafted in the 17th round, and again, that is gematria of Cam, that is gematria of Bo. 15 years later, the Packers win the Super Bowl. This was the clue all along. The Super Bowl is on the 39th day of the year. 31 days in January, the 8th day in February, the 8th day of the month. Another thing to consider. The Super Bowl would be played 30 days after Bart Starr's birthday. 30 is basically the coach LaFleur. Josh Jacobs. Jacobs is gematria 14th title. How does Josh Jacobs figure into Super Bowl 60? The Raiders beat the Broncos. Josh Jacobs, the Raiders running back, is going to beat the Denver Donkeys in the Super Bowl. That is what Josh Jacobs is about. It's about Raiders and Broncos, the real rivalry in the AFC fucking West. Raiders beat the Packers. That's what this is about right there. Yet another Alabama connection as we speak about. Hey, he's born in Oklahoma. It's a 46 admitted state. And 46 is gematria of Levi Stadium. So that's the main thing that stands out there as far as Josh Jacobs is concerned. "35 quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl. Quarterback number 36 is going to be a Packers quarterback. Bart Starr is gematria 36. So again, Jordan Love's going to be the 36th quarterback to win the Super Bowl. The Denver Donkeys fall to 3-6 in the Super Bowl. 3 Super Bowl titles in 9 appearances. The Broncos' last loss in Super Bowl 48. 12 years later, Super Bowl 60. Sean gematria of 12. The Packers stay at 27 losses. If they get the bye, they can get their 40th win. 40 is gematria Broncos. If the Packers are the number 1 seed, their 40th win against the Broncos. If the Packers don't get the number 1 seed, they get the 41st win in the Super Bowl. That's basically the Bay Area's 41 and Green Bay's 41. And of course, Bart equals 41. So that's how we make of those two scenarios. 64 previous playoff games. 68th game would be championship gematria. 67th game would be Bart Starr's first Super Bowl 6 in the year 67. 67 is also gematria of Levi's. Sean Payton won the Super Bowl at Miami. Miami is gematria of Santa Clara. They both equal 27. It also equals the Packers' last title in Super Bowl 45. Think about the Broncos' new ownership. New owners make it to a Super Bowl. That's another thing to consider too. They play a big regular season game on the 14th day of the month. How does that day connect to Jordan Love's 27th birthday? Bart Starr, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, their first Super Bowls came at 27 years of age. Jordan Love turned 27. 42 days later, Jordan Love, if he gets the number 1 seed, he is going to be 4-2 in the Super Bowl when he wins the Super Bowl. December 14th to the day of the Super Bowl, what do we get? Packers does equal 56. Bo equals 8. These are the things that we have to think about. Jordan Love played college football at Utah State. Utah State also equals Packers. Bay Area is 26. He was the 26th pick in the draft. Now think back to Super Bowl 50. And now he wasn't the main pass rusher. It was Von Miller. Now think to the MICAH Parsons trade. He came from the Cowboys to the Packers, right? You know who was a big-time pass rusher for the Cowboys who won the Super Bowl at Santa Clara? DeMarcus Ware. He won the Super Bowl in his second season with the Broncos, but he left the Cowboys to win something, and he did so with the Broncos. So when I think of DeMarcus Ware winning at the Bay Area, I'm thinking about what MICAH Parsons is going to do. That's something to consider. DeMarcus also equals Cowboys. It equals Parsons, MICAH Parsons. The Denver Donkeys' win percentage in the Super Bowl would be 33%, kind of like 33 degrees in Freemasonry. I doubt they're going to let him win the Super Bowl this soon after Peyton Manning last led them to glory. He's a California kid. So what's Baker? He's 6'4". Denver Broncos is 64. That's kind of what the height dimensions represent. Bakersfield is 47. What's 47? It's the Broncos. The Bakersfield kid is going to go up against the Broncos. 47 is also Bo Nix. Played college football with the Aggies. The Aggies is also Comanche of Super Bowl 45. What about Utah State Aggies? It does equal 49ers. What was his top stats in college football? It doesn't even show his college stats. So what is going to happen in the regular season matchup? Their 21st loss in the playoffs in a title game. They have 43 previous playoff games. The Packers does equal 43. The Broncos, if they get the number 1 seed, their 46th playoff game can be at Levi Stadium. Levi Stadium does equal 46. Probably Drake May. The Patriots will probably lose the AFC Championship game against Denver. Drake does equal the 39th day, so could we see Patriots Broncos in the AFC Championship game? The Packers are going to be 4-6 in the NFC Championship game. That is Comanche of Levi Stadium, so you have to see the Denver Broncos side. The Denver Broncos are 8-2. They'll improve to 9-2 in the AFC Championship game. 92 is Comanche of where Jordan Love is from, Bakersfield. Broncos are going to be at home. They'll be 7-1 at home. 71, I think we've established. Bart Starr, obviously. I think Bo Nix does equal 71 too. Bo Nix does equal 71. So, do they play the Patriots? 11-5 is basically Utah State, Jordan Love school. Jordan Love, though, he's 116. Jordan Alexander Love is Gamache of Colorado, where the Broncos are from. Colorado. Will the Packers be at home or on the road in the NFC Championship game? 4-6, they could be 2-2 at home like Levi's. If it's 7-2, then we've established that 7-2 is Gamache of Santa Clara. The Rams, they fall to 5-7, that championship number, they easily lose. The Seahawks 3-1, Packers 31. This could be a Super Bowl preview. Denver leads the series 8-7. They will improve to 9-7. They could fall to 9-8 as the Packers are about to be crowned the champions. This would be the Broncos' 11th straight win against the Packers. The Super Bowl rematch is on the 11th day. Brett Favre is also Gamache of 55 points, 49ers 55. This is the same day as the day of the conference title games. Packers by 11 was the spread. Super Bowl on 11-day numerology. Packers 31st team in the NFC to win a Super Bowl. That's what that's about. Right there, 55 points would be 49ers. It is easy to see where MICAH Parsons factors into the equation. He's 1-3. 2-3, 3-3, 4-3 like champion. Packers 5-3 is Bay Area. I've already entered the Gamache there. For the heck of it, we can do his full. And he is born on the same day that Bart Starr died, May the 26th. That was the day that Bart Starr died. May the 26th, same birthday as MICAH Parsons. That's the real reason why he plays for the Packers. What game in his career would be the title game? 80, 84, we get the 85, 86 like Bay Area, 86 previous games for the Super Bowl. The Bay Area equals 86. Micah Aaron Parsons, 77 equals Broncos. The Broncos' last Super Bowl loss, 43-8. The Packers is 43. Super Bowl 48 was at New Jersey. New Jersey 43-8. Their next loss against the Packers. Matt LaFleur. 4-5, 5-5. His 11th playoff game could be the Super Bowl if the Packers get the bye. 6-5. When did he become the coach of the Green Bay Packers? January the 8th of 2019. When will Matt LaFleur win the Super Bowl? 7 years and a month. 85 months. 85 is basically, well, 7-1 is kind of like Bo Nix is 71, and I think Broncos or Denver Broncos is 71. That's what 71 is about. 85 months after he became coach, basically that's the age that Bart Starr died. He died at 85 years of age. So he became coach in the same year that, that Parsons, that Starr died. Bart Starr, they get Parsons from the Star helmet, the Dallas Cowboys. Something ritualistic is definitely occurring. Alabama is Camacho the 31st time that the NFC would win the Super Bowl. Number 15, their next title, 15 years later, it's all a script. It's always been a part of the script. His 10 games, number 10, 10 years later. So his 10 playoff games connects the next Super Bowl debate 10 years later, and both quarterbacks are going to be number 10s. 9-1 record, Cam Newton does equal 91. 9-1 is, the San Francisco Bay is hosting the Super Bowl. The San Francisco Bay Area is Camacho of 91. His first win. Who was it against? He has 103 wins in his playing career. That is where we get the Broncos at. Not sure what his connections are to Denver, but that's kind of what the Camacho kind of tells us there a little bit. He had 10 postseason touchdowns during the Super Bowl era for a perfect 5-0 record. And 50 is basically San Francisco. The scripted Packers championship in a nutshell. Packers over Broncos. What equaled 188 in the calculator? Anything? 188 million was the extension, I guess. Broncos, Packers.